Hey everyone, it's Ace here with Magically Me.
Hey.
And we are going to talk about movies first on episode 5 of the All Cool Entertainment podcast. We're starting off with a huge announcement from Marvel. The Avengers Doomsday cast was announced. They did this via a live stream where they were showing off different names on the back of these chairs that you would see on a set. And the funniest part was when they showed Paul Rudd's, because he plays Ant-Man, he can shrink. Everything else, though, was, pretty standard, and it was, I think, 5 hours, maybe a little more.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, so a lot of people were upset about that, but I didn't sit and watch the whole thing. I just kind of went, put it on in the background. But here's the full list. We've got Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Vanessa Kirby as Invisible Woman, and I should say that they did not technically say these people are coming back as these characters. We know Robert Downey Jr. is playing Doctor Doom, so who knows if there's going to be some switcheroos there as well.
That would be interesting.
But they did show the Ant-Man chair as tiny, and when they showed Paul Rudd's name, I love that. It was weird, though, because after they put a picture on Twitter and Ant-Man's chair was normal, so I guess he grew back to size.
No.
But you've got Anthony Mackie as Captain America, Sebastian Stan as the Winter Soldier, Letitia Wright as Shuri, Paul Rudd again, Ant-Man, Wyatt Russell as U.S. Agent, which kind of spoils the Thunderbolts because now we know that U.S. Agent is going to live. But I don't know, maybe something interesting will happen at the end there. We've got Ebon Mos Bacharach, and I'm sure I mispronounced that as the Thing. I missed Tenoch Huerta Meja again. Probably butchered your name, I'm sorry, as Namor or Namor. Simu Liu as Shang-Chi. We haven't seen him in a minute. I actually liked that movie. Did you like that one, Lee?
Yeah, I did.
It was pretty good. The fight scenes were really cool.
They were. I liked them.
We got Florence Pugh as Yelena. And then this is where things get a little interesting because we have Kelsey Grammer coming back as Beast, who we last saw at the end of the Marvels in the post-credit scene. So we know that Kelsey Grammer is in the MCU now, originally in the Fox, X-Men universe. But that's kind of interesting that they're bringing him back. I mean, expected, but interesting nonetheless. Louis Pullman is Sentry, who's going to be in the Thunderbolts movie. Danny Ramirez, Falcon. Joseph Quinn is Human Torch. Again, Fantastic Forecast. David Harbour, Red Guardian. Winston Duke is M'Baku. Hannah John Kamen as Ghost. Tom Hiddleston as Loki. That one's very interesting. So I wonder if they're going to show Loki.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know, right? So I wonder if they're going to show Loki as we saw him at the end of his series, or how that's going to work. But this is where things get a little more interesting. Patrick Stewart is Professor X, who we did see come back in in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. But it was a version of Professor X that was kind of like with the Illuminati. So who knows which version this is going to be. Right after that, though, Ian McKellen, Magneto. So we've got more X-Men characters, which is interesting that they're choosing the older cast, because we just had Deadpool and Wolverine. And so how is this all going to come together? I don't know. Are they just going to kill them off? Are they going to show the new cast of X-Men from First Class and whatnot? I don't know. I'm excited to see it.
I am too.
But the next few names, though, are what really made me curious and kind of excited. Alan Cumming, a.k.a. Nightcrawler. Rebecca Romaine as Mystique, James Marsden as Cyclops, Channing Tatum as Gambit.
I can't believe it. It's actually happening.
But to make a name for myself, I can't. Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic, of course, because all the Fantastic Four are going to survive. And in the Fantastic Four movie that's coming out. And then Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. So that last casting is why I'm thinking they didn't say their names technically.
Yeah.
So maybe there'll be some switcheroos going on. I don't know.
Maybe.
And this is just for Avengers Doomsday. We still don't know about Avengers Secret Wars. What's going to happen there? Maybe we'll get other X-Men characters that aren't listed here. I don't know. But it sounds like it's going to be a celebration of all things Marvel. Will we get Tobey Maguire Spider-Man again? That's what we all want.
You wish.
But yeah, so that was the big news from Marvel last week. Now, we are actually recording this on Tuesday. We typically record this on the weekend, so I can tell you of some other news that actually came out over the past few days. Spider-Man with Tom Holland, the new movie. They announced the title, which is going to be called Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is interesting because that comic storyline, that not Brand New Day, but I think it was One More Day, the one that came either before it or after it. I don't know. It was very controversial. A lot of people didn't like the actual comic book. I honestly haven't read it. Lee, I know you haven't read it.
Certainly not.
But it is interesting that they're calling it Brand New Day, although it does make sense because part of the New Day storyline is that everyone forgets, I believe, Peter Parker's identity, or forgets about Spider-Man. I mean, it makes sense based on the events of what happened, so it'll be interesting to see. Also, Beyond the Spider-Verse is going to come out in 2027. We got a release date for that. So this came out of CinemaCon. So Brand New Day comes out July 31st, 2026.
Is that animated?
That's the one with Tom Holland.
Oh, that's the one with Tom Holland.
And then Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse is going to be June 4th, 2027.
Okay, and that's the animated one with Miles Morales. Right?
Yes, yep, exactly. Some stuff to look forward to there. We have some dates for those. We also just watched Mufasa on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
What'd you think, Lee? I've been talking too much.
No.
Tell me about it.
I actually enjoyed it. I thought that I liked it much better than I thought that I would. It still obviously doesn't even compare, in my opinion, to the first one, but I gave it a 3 out of 5.
To the first, like, live action or to the first, like, the old school animated?
First old school,
Yeah.
1994, I think it was, version.
Yeah. Which is a great movie. I just, some of the songs were good. Some of them were not. I feel like we didn't need this movie, though. And I feel like
Yeah.
Mufasa's voice is so iconic. While they all did a great job, even young Mufasa, it just doesn't sound right without having James Earl Jones as even the young version. I don't know. But to me, it just didn't. It didn't hit, and like I gave it a 2 out of 5. But it was interesting to have another story, I guess, in that world. I mean, Scar is really just a bitch at the end of the day. He's a little bitch.
He was spoiled
Yeah.
in a way, and you could see both sides of the story, but at the same time, Mufasa was supposed to be king
Yeah.
on his side. Scar was supposed to be king on his side.
Yeah.
So it's not like Mufasa was just like taking his place out of nowhere. Like he was already set to be king previously. Yeah, it's just crazy. The whole thing was just crazy. I definitely don't think that movie is meant for children. If I was a child watching that movie, I would have been petrified at those lines. Yeah.
We did okay with the animated though growing up.
Yeah. But even that was kind of a little bit scary.
Yeah.
Kid, right?
Yeah.
Like the green, like when it's all green and then the flames and then Scar's singing. And there's like darkness and his shadows. And
Yes.
it's like, it was super creepy, like to see as a kid. But
I love it. Give me more.
I feel like this one was like way more aggressive, like fight scenes and it's kind of a little bit. If you're a small child, I'd be afraid.
Yeah. I definitely won't be watching it again, but if
I
you
wouldn't
enjoyed
watch
it
again. I would watch the first Lion King that ever came out again, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't watch any of the other ones again.
I'd probably say bye-bye to this one.
You had to.
Bye-bye. That song stuck in my head, and of course, brother,
No, the songs were not it for me.
my brother.
I couldn't. I liked the story. I liked the fight scenes were cool, but
Yeah.
the singing, the songs were not for me.
No, not it.
No.
Not it. Yeah. I think that's all we have for movies, except I didn't ask you a question. So who is your favorite, or who are you most excited about to come back for the Avengers Doomsday casting?
Probably Paul Rudd.
There you go. Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm
about
very
you?
I'm very curious to see how they utilize the X-Men characters, and specifically Cyclops, because Cyclops has got a bad rap in those movies. Yeah, I didn't think he was terrible, but he's not Cyclops like he is in the amazing X-Men 97. Like Cyclops is a leader and he's very powerful and he knows what he's doing. He doesn't get sidelined by Wolverine. Like Wolverine is usually Wolverine gets beat up a lot. They give him a little bit more leeway in the live action movies. But so switching gears over to TV. So we finished Yellowstone because it's now on Peacock, because the way that show works is very confusing. I think it's like when it's live, it's on Paramount, but when it comes to streaming, it's on Peacock.
That confuses me.
Or
too.
it's on, right? Is that what it is? Yeah, I don't know. It makes no sense. I don't understand the streaming rights. It's very confusing. But anyway, we watched it, and it was very boring, and it was I mean, the last episode had some action, in it, but like it just dragged on. I feel like the last couple seasons have dragged on, honestly, and I question as to why I watched the show in the first place. What'd you think?
Yellowstone. Yeah, I felt like they dragged the show on way longer than it needed to be.
Like, and I was very against like not westerns, but those type of shows. I feel like they had their time, but I really liked Yellowstone the first season or two, and then I think they just didn't know what to do with it. And then of course there was that big Kevin Costner, versus Taylor Sheridan or whatever, and they couldn't figure out how to get the show to work. So then he went off and did his movies, the Horizon movies, which we saw that too. Not that great. But, I think this definitely, without having Kevin Costner there,
Yeah.
did not help. And there's a lot of like shots of them just like literally doing nothing for like 20
I know.
minutes. It's so
What was
boring.
that?
I can't. Not for me. But I did the actual last episode I did like, but I didn't love it. It's just that it could have been so much better. It was like the shell of a show that could have been, Mm-hmm. Is that how you felt? Or
Yeah, honestly, it went downhill.
yeah. But a show we've really been enjoying on Peacock, which I think you should all go watch, it's hilarious, is St. Denis Medical. It has a lot of it's like The Office, but at a hospital,
Yeah,
basically.
that's a good way to describe it.
And sorry, there's somebody with a camera following them around, but they actually acknowledge it a lot. And they're at a hospital. The cast is very funny. Like they found a very good cast. They go off of each other very well. I believe it's some of the people behind Superstore and some of the actors as well. But I'm really enjoying it. I don't know about you. Bruce is killing me.
So good.
Bruce is like one of my favorite TV show characters like I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
He's just so full of himself.
We needed him.
And I thought of like Todd from Scrubs because they're both surgeons and they both kind of have that like, macho attitude. And I guess that must be like a thing because we have two different pieces of media now that have that. But like, I love David Alan Grier too. I mean, everybody's really good on that show. Even some of the ones that like I didn't know. I don't want to call them unknowns, but people I wasn't familiar with. Everyone's very funny in this show, and I really think you should watch it. If you like comedies, typical NBC. I shouldn't say typical. It's funny. It's very funny.
And two of the characters are from Superstore.
Yes. So, but you're enjoying it too, right?
I am. I do enjoy it. I find it pretty funny, and the surgeon is definitely probably
Bruce.
Bruce. Yeah, is probably my favorite. He's so insane, and ridiculous.
And then like Matt, the nurse that just starts working there, he's always saying stuff under his breath, kind of like how Creed would on The Office, but he's saying stuff like that happened in like this. It sounds like this very religious town in
Like
Montana.
Amish,
Yeah.
Community.
Yeah. And you just sit there and go, what? What did he just say? Back in Montana, Yellowstone. But yeah, check that show out, guys. There's like 15 episodes now. This first season's still going. Season 2, I think, is greenlit. I think it's good to go. So yeah, check it out. And then you can say you saw it first. We also watched The Residence on Netflix. We tried watching it. The first episode had some promise, but we quickly realized that it was just kind of... It was just boring. Like, it was a murder mystery, but the way they were doing it and going back to certain things, and there's a lot of explanation. There's a lot of it that's not necessary just to throw you off, and like it's kind of a show that like thinks it's clever, but it's really not.
Like, I love shows about murder mysteries, and this one was just it didn't hit it for me. Like, I didn't find it entertaining like others that I've watched, like After Party.
Yeah, we like the After Party on Apple TV, which that one was canceled on Apple TV Plus. Yeah, after season 2.
Tiffany Haddish.
She was in both seasons. Yeah.
And I forget.
There's a lot of people in there, but that one was canceled, unfortunately. This one, not a fan. So I would say skip it. It's just not. It's not very good. And sadly, the main character, his name is AB. And I believe that's because Andre Braugher was supposed to be, I believe, the main character who ends up getting killed in the show. So, and of course, in real life, Andre Braugher, who most famous, I believe, for Brooklyn Nine-Nine, though also
Captain
in
Holt.
in many other movies and media. But unfortunately, he passed away. So I think that's a nod to him as AB.
Yeah, that was really sweet.
So that was cool. I'll give him, that's cool. And I know it's always hard for shows in movies, like when you have to bring in someone else,
Pivot.
Yeah. So I know it's hard, and I give them all the props. And this show just wasn't for me though. But you might like it early. But you might like it. Check it out if you want. I don't know.
Yeah.
Daredevil released 2 episodes last week. There's a new episode tonight, I believe. We got 2 episodes. The first episode people are calling filler. I really don't think it was filler. It felt like filler, but not in a bad way, because it did advance the plot line. So I wouldn't call it filler, but it was cool because it felt more like a connected universe, which a lot of people are complaining about, but then they call this episode filler. I don't understand, because we got, Miss Marvel's father was in it, and he was hilarious. He's always funny.
Yeah.
I don't know the actor. He's very, very funny. I liked him in the Miss Marvel show. I liked him in the Marvels movie. I think he's fantastic, and it feels more like a connected New York. You know what I mean? And like when we had Punisher last week or the week before, which was from the Netflix shows anyway. But if we can get more of that stuff, it feels more like a comic book, because that's what would happen in the comics: is someone would show up, maybe for a quick second, and I thought it worked. He was very funny. I liked the bank robber plot.
Yeah.
On St. Patrick's Day, it was good, right?
Yeah, liked it.
But the episode after that was even better. So this episode I gave a 4 out of 5. The episode after that, though, it starts off with Daredevil and Kingpin. You see 2 sides of them in their daily lives. And then at the end, it does the same thing. And just how they go through the course of their day till they get to the point where they get into these 2 epic fights. It was just very well done. The way it was filmed, it reminded me of kind of season 1 Arrow. There was an episode, I think it was season 1 or season 2, with Oliver and Deathstroke, when they were fighting on the island and off the island, and they kept switching between the 2. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
It kind of reminded me of that in a way, even though they're not fighting each other in this, they're fighting other people. But it was 2 really good fights, and overall I love how they filmed this and how they were doing that throughout the episode, at the beginning and at the end. I just love the episode overall. We got to see Muse, our villain, who we haven't really gotten to really see. He's very creepy. He's a serial killer. In the comics, apparently he has powers. He's an Inhuman, apparently. So
I actually had to look away because I couldn't. I have a.
Oh, with the blood, yeah.
Yeah, I can't. It's funny because I can't do things like The Walking Dead, but
Yeah.
when it comes to anything that looks, I can't. I
Can't
don't
do
even
it.
want to describe it.
But yeah, it was very good. And then Reacher, the finale, I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
It was really good.
I felt like I don't think I've ever seen a fight scene. Speaking of fight scenes, don't get me wrong, the Daredevil and Kingpin was great, but there's, some CG and stuff like that going on. This fight scene, there was some CG, but you could tell, and I think they even said in interviews, there was a lot of actual practical effects going on, smashing through boards and all this stuff. And it just looked so good.
It really did look really good. They did a really good job with it, and you can tell they probably trained really hard to get that scene right.
Apparently, if I'm not mistaken, Alan Ritchson, the guy who plays Reacher, he said it took them months to film it.
What?
Because it went on for 30 minutes or 40 minutes. It was amazing. It was it reminded me, a lot of people said this online, it's like Peter and the Chicken.
Oh my God.
I thought it was a great finale. I liked the season overall. This show knows what it is. A lot of people say that the show knows what it is.
Yeah.
And it was good. This season was really good. Now, go Lee. Tell me about it.
I definitely agree with you. It was a very surprising show, and kind of reminded me of how shows used to be, honestly.
Yeah. In movies, though, it was almost it really was movie quality. It was really good fight scene that just went on, and it was really good. But the episode itself was good too. How everything was resolved. Although if I were to nitpick, Michael C. Hall.
Michael C. Hall.
No, that's Dexter.
That's Dexter. No, the other Michael Hall.
Anthony Michael Hall. Okay.
Anthony Michael Hall.
That's weird. Yeah. So Anthony Michael Hall, who was, great in this, but so Anthony Michael Hall, I didn't like how his character got, killed. There could have been another way to avoid that, I feel like, but at the same time, maybe not. I don't know. I just felt like maybe the son could have kicked the gun away from Quinn
Done something.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Instead of just walk over to the dad. I don't know, but
I know. It's hard to say. You never know what you're going to do in the moment, but
true.
at the same time, it's a show. They could have written whatever they wanted.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Why didn't he save his dad?
Yeah. But that's it for Ace and Magically Me on episode 5 of the All Cool Entertainment Podcast. And that's it.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.